Growing up here in Charlotte County, I've seen many changes, one of them being the expansion here at Midway Boulevard. Like many of you, we've used Midway to get to the interstate quickly. But you might be surprised that this project saw many challenges to get to where it is at today. Please join me as we cast a spotlight on the Midway Widening project. During the 1950s, Charlotte County saw a boom of construction when General Development Corporation began dredging canals and creating roads in Port Charlotte. One of the first roads to head east from US 41 was Midway Boulevard.
Just a two-lane paved asphalt with surface water draining in the swales and out into the canals that they dug at the time in the 1950s.
And the road stayed that way until the mid-1980s, when Jonathan Cole moved to Florida and started working as an inspector with the Charlotte County Public Works Department.
One of my very first jobs was working on Midway Boulevard. It was the segment of Midway Boulevard that's south of US 41. From US 41 down to Lakeview.
That segment was the first widening of Midway to 4 lanes for traffic. During that time, too, road construction was pretty simple.
Widening the asphalt, no curbs, no gutters, and probably the biggest thing is no stormwater treatment at that time. You could just let the rainfall hit the asphalt and run down the swales and into the waterways at that time. There were no significant regulations.
11 years later, Cole had left working for the county and was working for Giffords Webster Engineers, who had just received Phase 1 plans for Midway Boulevard east of US 41.
Our company got the design for in 1997, and that was from Elkham Boulevard all the way to Kings Highway.
The design phase was only about 50% complete. The project moved very slow, and after several years, they still had not broken ground.
One of the biggest problems with trying to widen a 4-lane road that was originally platted in the 1950s is that it was built lower and the houses surrounding it were built relatively low. If you were to build today a new development or a new housing system or a new commercial complex or a new road, you would fill those lots to meet today's FEMA rules and also to meet today's Southwest Florida or SWIFT-MUD stormwater rules.
So the county had to figure out how to widen a road with yesterday's rules to meet today's standards. They quickly figured out that as they widened the road, there would be more stormwater runoff. They had to capture that water and release it slowly so it wouldn't impact any properties downstream. The project was broken into 2 phases.
The reason that was broken into 2 phases is that the area from Elkham to Sharp, or the area around the Harbor Drive intersection, that could drain sufficiently without impacting properties to the south.
But the persisting problem with widening Midway was where all the stormwater runoff was going to go to.
We realized that we have a problem, and the problem was that by widening the road and increasing the impervious area of it, the canals in the areas downstream of here, down by US 41, couldn't handle the additional water. And so this project was put on hold for a while.
Charlotte County stormwater experts then got involved with the Southwest Florida Water Management District to create a stormwater master plan for this whole area to improve and enlarge the conveyance system of canals down to Charlotte Harbor. One of the biggest enlargements had to happen under US 41.
And in order to increase the flow underneath 41, without interrupting traffic, some massive pipes had to be tunneled underneath the road at several locations.
The micro-tunneling project along US 41 was so imperative to the overall project. Had it not been done, the second portion of Midway Boulevard may have never been completed. Charlotte County Public Works project manager Jeff Kaiser oversaw the implementation of the microtunneling project.
The microtunnel is basically a wireless, unmanned boring machine. It uses a jacking system, which actually there's jacks that are behind the tunnel head. Concrete pipe, jacking pipe is inserted between the jack and the head, and then the jacking system pushes the pipe, which in turn pushes the tunnel head through the ground at a vertical rate.
Kaiser says that it wasn't until he attended a conference that he had learned about microtunneling. They learned that microtunneling had been done in other parts of the country, but not on a scale that the county needed to move vast amounts of water under US 41.
Spent about a year doing research between myself and our design consultant, Jonathan Cole with Giffords Webster, and came up with the microtunneling concept, which has been done, but not at this size or at this type of location.
But the microtunneling was a success. And because of the success of that project, the county was featured on pages of American City and Counties Crown Communities.
The project, the county has won the City and Counties Award, Crown Award. We also won the DOT APWA State Award for the project also.
3, 2, 1, cut.
And so, with the project completed, the county officially opened the road in December of 2018.
You know, and I take pride in what I do. You know, there's a lot of bumps and bruises, you know, dealing with the businesses and the general public. But once we're done, we're gone. It works, it functions, and most everybody forgot about it, or if they weren't here when it was going on, they don't even know it's there. It's buried underneath and functioning the way it was designed. So it's a successful project.
I always say in civil engineering, it's kind of a funny thing. If you drive a road, it looks very boring to you, well then the civil engineer did a good job. If you see it full of flooding and puddles and strange elevations, well then it didn't do a very good job. So yeah, you know, we're proud of this project. I think it came out very well. And I think all the trials and tribulations paid off, both for Charlotte County and for my company and myself personally.
So this is kind of like your legacy.
Yeah, I guess it is. It's one of my legacies in a way, correct, yeah.